In this mini exercise, you're going to use two different constraints to make this eyeball rotate. So you just have, I just put a little object here, and then you have this eyeball, and that's why it's called Quit Staring at Me, because the eyeball is going to be influenced by this object. So you want to make sure you're in the animation menu set. So if you're not, if you're under modeling or whatever, what have you, go to animation, and then we're going to make it so that when you rotate this object, the eyeball is going to rotate as well. So I'm going to click on the parent first, the influencer first, and then the influenced or the child second by holding shift click. And then I'm going to go up to constrain, and we're going to add an orient constraint. And when you do that, you're going to see if you select the eyeball, there is an orient constraint on there. And if I rotate the cone, the eyeball or the orient of the eyeball or the rotation of the eyeball is the same. So that is the orient constraint. We're also going to do what's called an aim constraint. And then the name of this little file here is going to make sense. So again, I'm going to click on the influencer and then the influenced. And then I'm going to go up to constrain and choose aim. Now I got an error here, so it's saying that it's already connected. So you can't have two connections, two constraints at the same time. So I'm going to just duplicate this, duplicate, and move it over. I'm going to duplicate this. Actually, you know what? Let's just duplicate them both at the same time. There we go. And now there is still a constraint on here, but if I go into the polysphere, you'll see the orient constraint. I can just delete that so there's no more orient constraint. So now I'm going to click on the influencer, then the influenced, go to constrain, and choose aim. And what happened was the aim constraint offset it. So a good practice, I just hit Z to undo. A good practice is when you're doing a constraint, you're going to go to the option box, and there is a maintain offset check. So if I click on the check and hit add, you can see that the constraint happened, but the offset was maintained so that it didn't rotate the eye. So now if I to move this object, the eye follows it. So for this exercise, you are going to you're going to recreate what I just did. You're going to do the orient constraint on this eyeball, and you're going to do the aim constraint on this eyeball. You don't have to keyframe anything. All you're doing is adding constraints, and then I will check it after you submit it. So that is this particular exercise.